Welcome to the Bay Area. From Santa Clara, CBS Sports presents the National Football League. It's the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. With NFL MVP Rich and Kevin Harlan, James Erdahl on our sideline this afternoon. The Ravens have lost 4 of their first 5 with quarterback Joe Flacco. The Niners have lost 4 consecutive games after season opening on a Monday here against the Vikings. We've had the flip of the coin. San Francisco has won. They have chosen to receive. Justin Tucker will be kicking off for the Ravens. And back, one of 2, DeAndre White, who is an undrafted rookie out of Alabama. It's the Ravens and the Niners. And this will be left in the end zone with a 1st and 10. For San Francisco, Rich, at 20-yard line, and this takes us to quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, Kevin, quarterbacks are always lightning rod on the team and under constant scrutiny when you're not winning. And that's what we're seeing here in San Francisco. There's no question Colin Kaepernick's a talented player. The 49ers need to stay the course and ride out the storm with Kaepernick.
Niners coming off a pretty nice game, even though they lost in the Midlands to the Giants.
I thought it was as good as Kaepernick has played all season. He really threw the ball well, both in the pocket and outside the pocket.
It is a 1st and 10. Anquan Bolden with a block from Selleck, and he'll dance a little bit. Maybe the quarterback's going to throw a blocker. He's got a lead. Torrey Smith leading. C.J. Mosley will force him out of bounds. And so Anquan Bolden, the ex-Raven, runs for 15 after the catch and gets the 1st down.
We'll see so many of these quick screens. They love them in San Francisco. They throw them to the receivers, the tight ends, and the backs, and now you just see him change fields. And look at the blocking you see on the backside. You've got everyone out in front. You've got receivers. You've got quarterback making a block for Anquan Bolden. Good to see on 1st down.
Couple tight ends here on 1st and 10. This is Carlos Hyde who changes directions, and then Will Hill will get him at about the 4-yard line on a gain of 5. The offensive line. Jordan Devy along with Andrew Till will be rotating at that right guard. Seemed to work well last week against the Giants. They'll do it again today. Till was just called off the practice squad last week. And Carlos Hyde, the 7th leading running back in terms of yards on the ground coming into today. In the place it was held previously by Frank Gore. 2nd and 5. Torrey Smith, the other former Raven. Jimmy Smith has got a beat on him. Out to about the 42-yard line. A gain of a couple on the play. Out the defense for the Baltimore Ravens. The press continues for the nose tackle, Brandon Williams. Alodina is no longer here. For viewers on the West, he is now with Detroit. So Williams taking that role. Elvis Dumerville is not 100%, but with Terrell Suggs out for the season with an Achilles, Dumerville has been one of the lone pass rushers for this team. And Reese Wright, the former Niner who was cut this week and signed by injury-depleted secondary for the Ravens, is in there starting with the 3rd and 3 here. Kaepernick, Anquan Bolden, runs on a Kyle Arrington, 1st down, 48. Richie picks up 6, and another 1st down for San Francisco.
Well, this really took a while for it to come out of the hands of Kaepernick. Kevin, he had to open early, and if he would have gotten it to Anquan Bolden early, he would have picked up some more yards. He almost ran out of room on the boundary. But one of the things you look at the Ravens, they've really struggled defensively. Look at this disturbing trend of what's happening now on 3rd down. Almost half the time, teams are converting 3rd down opportunities against this Ravens defense.
Telling numbers indeed. Hyde on 1st and 10 to a thicket and crosses midfield down to about the 49 of the Baltimore Ravens. The offense emerging for San Francisco against the Giants. They had scored just 10 points the previous 2 games. A season high 27 points last week against New York.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Kevin, I really felt Colin Kaepernick, maybe he had his best game this season. He looked in control. He was decisive. The ball was coming out a little bit quicker. And I thought they played better up front for the most part.
After the gain of 4, here's Kaepernick on 2nd down and 6. Short again. This time Vance McDonald. And he'll hurdle his way downfield. And he finds 10, and he's down to the 38-yard line of Baltimore.
Well, they've struggled early in games, and slow starts have been a real problem. Look at these numbers. They've been outscored 32-3 in the 1st quarter of games. Come on in the 4th quarter, by that point, Kevin, sometimes it's too late. But Jim Tomsula has talked a lot to his football team, the offensive football team, about better starts, especially here at home.
Kyle Arrington being taken off the field with a look at the first-year head coach, Jim Tomsula, who took the place of Jim Harbaugh, who's now with the University of Michigan. A change in the staff and a big turnover rate in the roster for the Niners.
You know, it's amazing how quickly things can change in this business. The 49ers went from being one of the best and most stable franchises in football to one that's really rebuilding. I mean, you had a relatively young head coach, a quarterback who took the league by storm a few years ago, coupled that with a dominant defense, and now you have a team that's lost 4 straight and is struggling to find their way.
Kaepernick is starting this game 4-4. He had a couple tight ends. Blitzes on by Lewis. Gets it out to Carlos Hyde and picked up by Upshaw. Right about the line of scrimmage, maybe to the 37. They'll give him a gain of a yard.
Well, I really liked Carlos Hyde, Kevin. I think the thing that I like the most, and I appreciate the most, is he finishes every run. He runs angry, and he gets everything out of each carry.
Well, last week, Rich, they had 124 yards on the ground, 93 for Hyde, but that was against the #1 run defense of the Giants.
Yeah, I think when you look at Hyde, most of his big runs, Kevin, come off the left side behind Staley and Boone.
Second down 9. Upshaw's got a beat on Kaepernick, who's very slippery, and downfield he goes, and a little bit too high. Will Hill was watching the tide and said, look, it's incomplete, and that brings up 3rd and 9.
The Ravens have talked all week defensively about keeping the quarterback contained in the pocket. When Colin Kaepernick runs with football, that's a problem for a lot of defenses. And even when you think you have a beat on him, he's such a tough tackle on the open field.
Here's as good a rushing quarterback as you're going to find. Kaepernick is 3rd and 9. 9th play a drive. Big play, a catch and run of 15 by Bolden.
Licky, talk.
With a 3rd and 9 going for Patton. Caught it on the chalk, incomplete with the coverage by Jimmy Smith in the send area.
Now, part of the problem is it seems like he's late with his eyes. You got to give the receiver a chance to make a play on the ball. I mean, you throw the ball out of bounds, he's got no chance. His deep ball accuracy has been a problem now for a couple of years.
Well, they gave a thought to a field goal try, but they do indeed have Bradley Pinion out there to punt on the first possession. Deep back for Baltimore is a guy they sent last week, Jeremy Ross. Signed off the practice squad last week with Steve Smith injured last week, but playing today. And here's the Pinion punt. He is a rookie out of Clemson. And it will be somewhere inside the 20-yard line as we get Mark off on the side. So a punt on first possession. Ball will be at about the 14-yard line, a 23-yard punt. This takes us to Baltimore quarterback Joe Flacco. Couple rushing touchdowns last week against the Cleveland Browns.
I think surprised even you and I.
Yeah,
he's got maybe better speed than we give him credit for. But the thing that you love about Flacco, he's so really tough. He never gets down on himself or anyone else. It's a quality you love to see from your quarterback.
Baltimore is the number 12 offense in the NFL. 15th running, 17th passing. Forsett is in. And 1st and 10. It's caught by Juszczyk, the fullback, who is upended by Wilhoit after a gain of 5, and he's up to the 20-yard line. So the lineup now for the Ravens on the line. Marshall signed a contract extension earlier this week. As good a right guard as there is in pro football. And Justin Forsett in the backfield getting the start after twisting an ankle late in the game and the overtime loss last week in Baltimore to Cleveland. It's 2nd and 5.
Didn't practice on Wednesday, didn't practice on Thursday, was limited in practice on Friday. Really came out here, tested it early, and he's a go.
Had 121 on the ground last week. 2nd down and 5. This is the aforementioned Forsett who got a Zuda block and plows his way. The 28 where Bowman brings him down after a gain of 8. And a Baltimore 1st down. The defense on the line. Ian Williams will anchor it. 5th-year player out of Notre Dame. Dorsey on one side. In the linebacking corner, Brooks is back after going home to Louisiana and for the funeral of his sister who passed away at the age of 40. Juan Bethea remains one of the premier safeties in pro football. His 118th consecutive start this afternoon. It is a 1st down for Baltimore in their first possession. Redwell brought down. It's Bowman right there at the 25 and a loss of 2.
Well, we talked to Navarro Bowman Friday. He said the key against this Ravens rushing attack is to force Justin Forsett to go sideways. And Even though he had that knee injury, didn't play last year, he's still very, very tough against the run.
Trying to manufacture a pass rush on the San Francisco defense, number 31 in the NFL, second down 12, and Flacco. Time, now they come through with Williams. Flacco, who throws very well out of the pocket, will swing it away and out of bounds, bringing up 3rd and 12 for Baltimore.
Well, he had Steve Smith early in the progression. He got off him, and for some reason he was looking to his left. Pretty good coverage there by the Niners in their zone scheme. You're going to watch Steve Smith. Great to get him back in the lineup. He's open right there. Just throw it to him. He's trying to get open. Now you see the linebackers rally to him. It's good to have him back. He's their big play threat. He's been out the last 2 weeks with a back injury.
Niners go with 6 in the secondary, 3rd down and 12. Knocked down. Gerard Eddy. He's the tall guy, Tony Gerard Eddy, out of Texas A&M. Played a little outside linebacker last week. That's that Flacco pass down, and Baltimore's got punt.
You're going to see he's actually going to get double teamed. He's right in the middle of your screen. The center and the right guard working on him. He just doesn't give up. Just keeps his eyes on the quarterback, and he's able to get that left hand up and knock it away.
The punter is Sam Cook. Led the National Football League through the first 5 weeks in gross and in net. Jared Hayne is back looking into that bright California sun. And he finds some room, breaking one tackle after fumbles the ball. He did this against the Vikings on the opening night here on a Monday. And the body language would tell you that Baltimore feels they've recovered, but the officials disagree and they point the other way. And San Francisco retains it, and Hayne has fumbled again. He lost the first one, he regained this one.
And usually, Kevin, it's when you're trying to fight for extra yardage. So he comes up from behind and pops it out. Really nice effort there by Anthony Levine to get it on the ground.
San Francisco with 4 straight losses, 1-1 at home, 1-4 overall. Losing 30-27 on Sunday night in the Meadowlands. 1st and 10, second possession. And they go to Bruce Miller, the fullback. Oh, he just throws aside Mosley and takes it down to the 39-yard line of Baltimore. A catch on at 28. Tackle by Smith. First down, San Francisco.
Well, the play action has been very effective early for the 49ers. He's going to find his fullback, Bruce Miller, in the flat. Watch this stiff arm. That's pretty impressive. C.J. Mosley not able to defend against the stiff arm.
Pretty good, too, for a former defensive player at Central Florida. What to do a fullback in the NFL. 1st and 10. Here comes Warren Scott. There goes a very wise throw out of bounds by Kaepernick. And it's incomplete. The 3rd member of our crew this afternoon, we say hello to Jamie Erdahl.
Well, you guys have been talking about Colin Kaepernick and his development as a quarterback with the 49ers. When we spoke to the 49ers offensive coordinator, Chris, the other day, he was telling us in this offseason, the 49ers put together a catalog of Kaepernick's 1,500 career throws so far in his career, just to work on his trust and to figure out what has been successful against certain defensive coordinators, and it feels like it's really calmed him down.
Thank you, Jimmy. There's a run by Hyde, who bangs his way down to the 35 on a gain of 4. That's the one thing about Colin Kaepernick. There's a lot of guys making a lot of opinions about the way he throws, Rich.
Yeah, I think it can be overwhelming, Kevin. I think Jeep Chris is trying to protect the quarterback with the play call. I think he's been very careful and conservative with a ton of quick throws, screens, underneath throws to the tight ends and running backs. A lot of people think that Colin Kaepernick has changed. Not the same player he was a couple years ago. I totally disagree, and we'll talk about that a lot during the course of this game. I don't think he's changed at all. The team around him has changed.
That's an understatement. 3rd full year as a starter for the Niners for Kaepernick. 3rd and 6 here. And almost picked off on the play, going for Bolden, and juggled by Smith, incomplete. It was just that close.
Well, Bolden's trying to stop. You're going to see him come out of motion. He's going to stop, not keep running. I think Kaepernick was anticipating him running out of the break. Jim Smith almost had an easy interception.
They have brought Phil Dawson out onto the field with a bit of a breeze to his back. This will be a 53-yard field goal tried by the longtime veteran Phil Dawson. 14 years in Cleveland, now in his third year in San Francisco. 53-yarders. Pinion the hold. He got it. 53-yard field. Phil Dawson with the big play on that second possession by San Francisco. Catch and run by the full Bruce Miller.
Where Phil Dawson's money in the bank.
He is.
He's his clutch.
You're talking about the Turner. You think things around Kaepernick have changed so much, and they've lost so many players in a variety of ways with the San Francisco team.
And Kevin, really, look, has he made the progress that they were hoping for? No, but has he really changed? No, I don't think he has. I think they were able to mask many of his deficiencies with the offensive scheme. They had Frank Gore, a great offensive line, a very talented running game, a top-tier defense to boot. I don't think he's all that much different. I think he's a guy that's more comfortable outside the pocket. I know that the 49er fans and 49er coaching staff are offended when you say he has to function better from the pocket. But that's the bottom line. He's got to quiet his feet in the pocket, and he has to become a better passer from the pocket. Joe Montana talked about it. Steve Young has talked about it. Every other analyst out there has an opinion on Colin Kaepernick, and quite frankly, I think it's too much. I think there's been too much noise right now around the quarterback.
He is what he is, correct, huh?
Absolutely, and I just think I'd embrace what he is and try to accentuate what he does well in the offense.
They're going to leave it in the end zone with Jeremy Ross. The 20-yard line for Flacco in Baltimore for his second possession this afternoon. Hey, fans, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Jamie Erdahl, and a terrific CBS crew here in the Bay Area. Second possession for Baltimore. 5 plays punt. First time they had it. Forsett is playing. Steve Smith is playing. 2 question marks coming in because of different kinds of injuries. And here's Forsett with a couple of 100-yard games over the last couple of weeks. And only picks up a yard on a play with Brooks and others making the stop.
You look at the Ravens right now offensively, Kevin, and particularly in the passing game. I don't know that they're precise enough, and I think I'm not surprised with all the injuries and the new players that they have in the lineup. But right now, this is a team that is banged up, not just offensively, but defensively. 10 players are held out of practice on Wednesday, including 5 starters. It's tough when you don't practice. Tough on the play caller as well.
9 with play action and Bowman up the middle. Flacco's held incomplete. Naval Bowman, who's been a 3-time first-team All-Pro. What a player. Let's go to New York, our first trip now with James Brown.
Despite 3 picks by Peyton Manning, here's what won it in OT.
In OT, Brandon McManus' 4th field goal of the day, and the Denver Broncos once again win a close one, 26-23 in overtime.
Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and Jimmy Erdahl.
It was last week in Baltimore where Cleveland won on a field goal in overtime.
It's amazing, Kevin. Peyton Manning is not playing well, and yet the Broncos are still undefeated.
It's amazing. What a defense. To 3rd and 9 here for Flacco. Only 1 of 4. Dumps it off here. And the slippery Forsett. Grabbed by Antoine Bethea with a gain of 3. Not a lot of room out to the 23. Second punting situation arising for the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, the 49ers have worked long and hard this week on their underneath coverage. Bowman getting back is going to help, but they gave up too many big plays after the catch last week on the road against the Giants.
Rich, they counted 190 receiving yards by the Giant running backs and tight ends last week. Right about that underneath coverage.
Absolutely, Kevin. It was a killer against the Giants.
Another one coming in for Sam Cook. Long-time Baltimore punter. He was there with the Super Bowl game with the San Francisco team and kind of bangs line drive, which, as you can see, has great position and kind of corners the deep back man for the Niners, Jared Haynes. 62-yard punt and well placed too at the 14-yard line. No hang, but a good roll by Cook.
It's a beautiful day here.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Isn't it great?
Yep. Great to be in the Bay Area, one of the great stadiums. Of course, the venue of Super Bowl 50 on CBS. Welcome our new audience. We've had a 53-yard field goal by San Francisco kicker Phil Dawson. 2 possessions for the Ravens. 5 plays punt, 3 plays punt. Here's the third now for Colin Kaepernick from his own 14-yard line with the first and 10. Couple 1 and 14 outside for Miller, the fullback. And he's brought immediately on the play by Zadarius Smith. He's a rookie out of Kentucky. Gains out to about the 22, picks up 9.
A lot of movement and misdirection early from the 49ers with their passing game. The ball still coming out quick. A little hesitant to run the ball against this bigger front seven of the Ravens.
Ravens at 1 and 4, San Francisco at 1 and 4. Niners have lost 4 straight for our new audience, and we've got 4 or 5 losses now for the Baltimore Ravens. Second down 1. And that was deflected. Incomplete. I think he was zeroing in on the tight end, Selleck, who was heavily covered in the middle. Where did the ball just get away from? Did it just slip off, or was it deflected at the line?
It's going to get tipped right inside. I don't know if it's higher. I think it's the right hand up in there. I think
it was Williams. I think it was Williams. Yep, it was.
Williams, you're right.
Getting those passing ones, huh?
He's really had a really terrific year, Kevin. Not just in terms of what he's done with their run defense, but his push that he gets on the pocket helps both of those guys come shooting off the edge. Oh, wow.
Kaepernick, 3rd and 1, wide open. He's got his guy, and that's the fullback, and there goes Miller. He's chased by Upshaw. He's brought down at the 19. They say he stepped out of bounds at the 25-yard line. It was a catch and run of 52. Miller caught one earlier in the game for 28.
Kevin, just look at the middle of the field. There's nobody in the middle of the field. I mean, they've got 11 men up around the line of scrimmage. I have no idea what the Ravens were thinking here. He can either player for a touchdown. In fact, if he throws it to the receiver, they may score.
Welcoming an audience here to San Francisco. 2 1 and 4 teams. Big plays by the fullback on 2 separate series by San Francisco, who lead on a 53-yard field goal. Here they go marching again at the 25-yard line of Baltimore with the first and 10. Davis in, one of the couple tight ends. And this is Carlos Hyde, who is brought down on the play. Looked like Jernigan got him with a gain of a yard, and he's down to the 24.
I'm not surprised to see what the 49ers are doing offensively, Kevin. Cleveland had a lot of success last week getting their tight end Gary Barnidge and their running back Duke Johnson matched up on C.J. Mosley in the middle of the field. So you got Vernon Davis, Carlos Hyde going to work on these linebackers in the middle of the field.
So far, 8 of 13. Second down 9. Time. And on the move. Over the head of Bolden. Flag is thrown. Sharice Wright, who had been practicing against Bolden while in Niner over the last month of the season before he was let go this week by San Francisco. Now starting for Baltimore, ironically enough. There's a penalty.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 35, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, it's too bad because he did a terrific job for the first 80% anyway of the play. He had great coverage on Bolden. It was off the scramble where he panicked a bit and grabbed some jersey. You're right, Kevin. Sharice Wright in from San Diego, played in San Francisco, was an act the first 4 games, but it just goes to show you how banged up they are at cornerback.
Indeed. Good block by Bell. Good block by Boone. This is high down to the 16-yard line. He only gets 3. May have been less. Williams with the tackle on the line.
I just like the fact that Carlos Hyde breaks a lot of tackles.
A look at Carlos Hyde, replacing the legendary Frank Gore as a Niner running back.
He's already racked up 211 yards after contact. Only Chicago's Matt Forte has more with 213. You're not going to arm tackle this guy.
Second down 7. Kane is in.
He's got man-to-man coverage outside.
Kaepernick sees it, and that's where he's going. Here comes Bolden. He had to twist around. Kendrick Lewis was there with an incompletion inside the 5. Quan Bolden played 3 years for Baltimore.
Kaepernick sees the man-to-man coverage. They're just trying to run a little bit of a pick play, a little bit of a rub play, I think probably the more appropriate term. But we're seeing a lot of it, Kevin. In fact, the officials sent out in their officiating video warnings to offensive teams about the pick. Kaepernick, with plays like that, he's got to get it up and down quicker. He floats it out there. He gives a corner a chance to recover, gives a safety a chance to make a play on. He's got to get the ball up and down quicker when he throws the ball down the field.
He's got a rocket for him.
Yeah, he needs to put a little less loft the ball, be a little bit firmer.
7. Anquan Golden. Led well across the way by Kyle Arrington down to about the 12-yard line. Gain of 3. The San Francisco offense has not scored a first quarter touchdown all season. They're going to bring back out their field goal unit. And here comes Phil Dawson.
They really struggled in the first half, too. They have a nice in the first quarter, but the first half. Coming into today's game, 26 total possessions, just 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Dawson now 7-8 this season, a 53-yarder earlier, a 31-yard try right now. And Dawson makes it 6-0 San Francisco with 1:56 to play in the first quarter on CBS. A reminder, your weekend starts right here when the Seahawks take on the Niners in an NFC West bet. That's Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. With MVP Rich Gannon, Jamie Erdahl on our sideline, Kevin Harlan. We've had 2 field goals by kicker Phil Dawson. 1 of 53 moments ago, a 31 with a 6-0 lead. There have been some slow starts. 8 plays and 14 yards are going to get it back. And Jeremy Ross has got this go over his head and out of the end zone to 20 with a touchback, and a flag has been thrown back at the 37-yard line where the ball was just about kicked off. On this 70-degree, 10-mile-an-hour wind day in the Bay Area. Beautiful, beautiful weather.
I think someone jumped the gun for the 49ers coverage unit. The Ravens just tack on the 5 yards.
Offside, kicking team, number 56. Baltimore is elected to re-kick after a 5-yard penalty.
Whoa.
Shane Scove with a look at John Harbaugh. You had a nice conversation with him yesterday about his team. Talked about mental toughness with his team.
Yeah, he was pretty animated when he came in to visit with us yesterday. Kevin said it's time for this team to grow up. It's a team to play with more mental toughness and discipline, and every single play. You know, you need to build that mindset in this team. And he shared the story about Ozzie Newsome. And one of his first catches as a member of the Browns, he resulted in a strip fumble, and then he went on to talk about how he told him he never did it again. But I think he fibbed a bit. We did some research. Ozzie had, I think, 662 catches. He only fumbled 3 times, though, when you think about that. So the point of the story is that he made a mistake early, but he got it corrected. And this is a guy that's been in the building. Ozzie's been the general manager there for 20 years. The point is they've got to clean up their own area and play better and finish as a football game.
Pinion now moves it back to the 3 of the Niners. With the kickoff coming again, Ross is back. They just called him off the practice squad, as we said earlier. A couple of yards deep, he'll bring it out. He has returned a kickoff for a touchdown and he moves inside before he was brought down by Reeser and others. Dante Johnson was there, 19-yard return. It's another possession for the Ravens. We're 16 weeks away from historic Super Bowl 50 here on CBS in this building. Great pictures you saw there. A lot of those. You'll see also a big display out at SFO. The United Terminal, 1st down and 10. 2 straight possessions of punts for Baltimore. Downfield they go. Steve Smith, he found the pocket. He finds it down into San Francisco territory. He's at the 42 and picks up 19. 1st down.
That was his first throw to a wide receiver, and it's to get Steve Smith involved. He actually had the post as well, but Smith sneaks in right behind the linebackers and in between the safeties.
Back injuries. He got hit in that overtime Thursday game on CBS and NFL Network in Pittsburgh. Minor fracture, small little issues in his back, but he's out there gutting it out. They say he's about as resilient to pain as they've ever come across. It's 1st and 10 from the 42. Goes outside. He finds his rookie tight end out of Minnesota. That is Max Williams, who's a good one. It's a gain of 6 on play. Banging down at the 36 and downstairs to Jamie.
Kevin, it's not often a player gets to decide whether or not he's in the lineup, but Steve Smith Sr. has earned that respect after 15 years. John Harbaugh said it was his call with that back injury. I spoke to him after warm-up, said he's good to go, but he is wearing a protective sleeve around that midsection to make sure it doesn't bother him throughout this game.
Probably Rich went like a flex jacket or something, huh?
Really amazing. Wouldn't be surprised, Kevin, that they maybe even got injected before the game. You know it's bad when you can't practice during the week, and yet you come out here, you warm up, and you try and play. He's certainly not at 100%, but he's as tough as they come in this game, and it's just great to have him back in the huddle. I think it's a guy that Flacco has a great deal of confidence in. He's their big play threat. He gives them a lot of production and consistency at wide receiver.
He gets a Buck Allen race for 8 on that 2nd down 4 and give a first down to Baltimore at the 28, best position they've had today. He remains in the game. Brooks is coming. Crockett Gilmore has missed the last couple games with an injury. The tight end is out there, and he's back down about the 26-yard line on a gain 2. Down by Jimmy Ward. First quarter has come to a close with a couple of Phil Dawson field goals. Tonight, 6 continues with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tomorrow with Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood 1. Then Week 7 kicks off with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Boomer Esiason and I will be in Philadelphia tomorrow night on Westwood 1 with that Giants-Eagles game. San Francisco lost by 3 at New York last week. Baltimore lost at home in overtime to Cleveland by 3. 2nd down and 8 as we begin the second quarter. Big play, a 19-yard pass to Steve Smith, who was playing today after missing last week with the back injury. Good catch. Crockett Gilmore, head over heels, 7-yard line, belted by Lynch, and picks up 19 in the first goal coming up for the Ravens.
See Williams down, but what a terrific throw catch. Getting Crockett Gilmore back is really going to help the Ravens.
Calf issue. He missed the last couple games. He had been very productive with his 10 catches in the first couple games of the season. With an injury timeout, we step aside. We're back in San Francisco, Bay Area. Santa Clara to be exact, about 25 miles south of San Francisco. Ian Williams, the player down. He's out. First and goal at the 7. Flacco with time. He goes outside with a pass reception by Forsett. He's down to about the 3, and he picks up 4 in the play with the coverage on the play by Brock.
Well, just keep an eye on Marshall Yonda. Jeremy Zutow's blocking Ian Williams. Watch this. He's going to get triple team. Watch the shot to the rib cage, though. I mean, that'll take the wind out of you. That'll discourage you from putting that arm up and trying to knock balls down from Joe Flacco.
Williams back in on the line. 2nd and goal at the 3. Forsett blocked by Gilmore and stuffed on the play. They had Brooks and they had Reed from the secondary. Gang tackled, no gain on the play. They remain at the 3.
Well, the 49ers have worked really hard on the run defense. And I think you look at the Ravens the last couple of weeks, they've had a lot of success running the football versus the Steelers, versus the Browns. They rushed for at least 180 yards in back-to-back games. And so 49ers putting a couple extra bodies down around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, 181 against Cleveland. So it has been a part of their offense. 3rd and goal at the 4 with the timeout taken. Or have they found a player? I guess Glenn Dorsey has taken the time for the Niners. They've got 2 remaining with Baltimore deep in San Francisco territory.
Yeah, the reason they took the time, you can't play with 12. 49ers made a mistake there, had to waste the timeout.
Oh, now Baltimore is going to challenge. A challenge flag has been thrown out by Jim Harbaugh across the way.
What does he challenge him?
That there should have been a penalty as opposed to letting him a timeout, which would give him a better situation. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. John Perry is our referee.
There is no challenge by Baltimore for 12-minute defense as the center was not in the ball and San Francisco called a timeout prior to the play. No challenge.
Good explanation by John Perry. He has officiated Super Bowl 46. 3 other members of this crew, in fact, have worked at least 1 Super Bowl. Quality crew.
It's different now. You can't have 12 men in the huddle offensively.
3rd and goal at the 4. Flacco, touchdown. If he held on to it, he did not. Smith could not hold on. Tremaine Brock was back there defending. Steve Smith had it, dropped it, incomplete, 4th down.
Steve Smith's just going to run the post route in the back of the end zone. Joe Flacco gives him a catchable ball. Not an easy catch, a little bit behind him, but when you don't practice, it's hard to make these plays. Again, that's not an easy catch. You got a guy that's not 100%. It's not practicing during the week.
Even for a 5-time Pro Bowler, here is a 22-yard field goal try. One of the best in business, Justin Tucker. And he gets Baltimore on the board with 13:17 to play in the first half. 3 field goals in the game, 2 by the Niners, and right there by Flacco and his offense. What a pretty picture that is. Science created a pill that made him a genius. The FBI made him their smartest weapon. A new Limitless. Tuesday at 9 Central, only CBS. So in the battle of Texas kickers, we've got Phil Dawson, who played in Texas. He's got 2 field goals, and Justin Tucker, who plays for Baltimore. Former Longhorn himself, he's got a field goal. 6-3 is our score. After Tucker just nailed one from 22, and his subsequent kickoff is over the head of the deep back man, Leighton Patton. And so a touchback to the 20-yard line. Take a look at the standings, and in last place, Baltimore in the AFC North. First time in the franchise history, Rich, that John Harbaugh and this team at least have been 1-4.
Yeah, the record speaks for itself, and they're disappointed, but they're not out. I mean, other teams have started 1-4 and made the postseason.
So Baltimore had the ball first to go at the 7. They settled for a field goal. Here's the handoff on 1st and 10. With the run of 4 yards, up to about 24 by Hyde. Let's go to New York and James.
Beast mode, coach.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch's first touchdown of the season from 1 yard out put Seattle up over Carolina 10-7 in the second quarter.
Back to Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
Lynch makes them a different offense, doesn't he, Rich?
He's the tone setter. The other thing, Kevin, he's all about the action boss. I love that. It might have been the best line I've ever heard at a Super Bowl press conference. I'm all about the action, boss.
Been here all day. 2nd down and 6. Walk by Boone, going deep. Oh, he's got Torrey Smith. He's working out right. He just burned him, torched him. 76-yard touchdown completion.
Well, play action has been so good for the 49ers, and what they do is they run the little double move on the sidelines. Again, no safety in the middle of the field, and a perfect throw by Colin Kaepernick, giving his receiver a chance to run under it. This is an offense that has lacked the explosive plays. They get one against the Ravens.
And how about this? Longer pass plays have now kind of been showing up for this San Francisco offense. 5 pass plays of 20 yards or more over the last couple games. 6 in the first 4 games, but that last week with the 4 plays of 20 yards or more against the Giants. That was good for 76 yards. Torrey Smith, a former Raven, with the extra point. Whacked in that time, and it is a 13-3 lead for San Francisco. Right. Get burned, and Kaepernick has just thrown his 5th touchdown pass of the year. Kaepernick going deep, and he got him for 76 yards, Rich.
Yeah, it's amazing, Kevin. This is amazing. They have 9 men up around the line of scrimmage. And where's the safety? He's nowhere to be found in the middle of the field. There is no safety. And this is
Kendrick Lewis is up, you're right.
This is aggressive football from the Ravens, and they've been burnt twice now. In the first quarter, Bruce Miller, he goes 52, and now we've got Torrey Smith going for 76. Clearly confusion from the Ravens on defense. It's just John Harbaugh over there, make a correction on the sidelines.
Torrey Smith also had a 75-yard touchdown reception against Pittsburgh earlier in the season. So he's at 2 70-plus yard TD passes from Kaepernick. Here's the kickoff by Bradley Pinion. to the 20-yard line on the touchback. So big plays last week and big plays this week for San Francisco.
Yeah, in their losses, they've been hit hard by penalties and by big plays. And again, you've got a safety out of position in the middle of the field. Josh McCown throws a deep post over the top. And we've seen it all too often from Ravens secondary.
They also allowed a 68-yard touchdown pass to Amari Cooper of Oak, an 80-yard touchdown pass to Cincinnati's A.J. Green. Is Flacco on first and 10 middle over Kamar Aiken's hands with coverage in the secondary by Reed.
Well, Joe Flacco, Kevin, not off to a great start. Missed a couple throws. It just seemed like they're out of sync right now in the passing game.
They have a new offensive coordinator too, and Mark Trestman.
Fourth different coordinator in 4 years. We talked a little bit about that last week. When they play well offensively and they throw the ball well, it comes off of play action. They're not running the ball well enough on first down.
Force it on second down and 10. Belted as he got to the 25, and that's as far as he's allowed to go. All kinds of guys in there. Will Hoyt among them. Gain of 5 on the play. Last time, Baltimore, Rich had it first and goal at the 7. Had to settle for 3 on the road. You can't do that.
They've not been a good red zone team. Settle for too many field goals down in that part of the field. Here's an area where the 49ers have really struggled getting off the field on third down.
They have indeed. With 5 in their secondary right now, 3rd and 5 for Flacco. And it was picked off! Will Hoyt at the 29. Going for Aiken. Game's first turnover.
Well, here's the linebacker. He's trying to fit the ball in between both linebackers. I don't know if Flacco ever sees Will Hoyt jump in front of this. Will Hoyt reading the eyes of Joe Flacco the entire way.
That's his first interception this year, 3rd of his career. Had a couple last year for the Niners, who begin with outstanding field position here at the 29-yard line of Baltimore. With a couple tight ends against that 54 defense, this is Carlos Hyde. Hit by Smith. Banged by Lewis, picked up 4, down to the 25.
These look numbers for both quarterbacks. Colin Kaepernick getting the better of the two, and of course, getting off to a good start, Kevin. Ball's coming out quick. A lot of short and intermediate throws, and of course, he went over the top on the last one to Torrey Smith. 23 offensive plays for the 49ers. They've thrown 16 times, a lot of them coming on the early downs.
Fullback is on the move. 2nd down and 6 for Kaepernick. He's on the move, and Smith just got his shoelaces. About the 22 on a gain of 3.
Really nice effort by Jimmy Smith. He's going to come off the edge. He gets blocked by the back. Carlos Hyde's able to come off and make the shoestring tackle on Colin Kaepernick.
How about that decision process? That's when he decides to pull it down and go, or stick in there and wait out a route.
I just think big thing with him, Kevin, he needs to be decisive. You know what I mean? Sometimes he tries to be perfect. When you see an opening, you're so good at running, take it. Getting a lot of man-to-man cuts, a lot of opportunities at the top of the screen.
With a 3rd and 2. Pierce got the block. Upshaw chases Kaepernick, who is going to glide his way inside the 15-yard line of the Baltimore Ravens. But about the 14, runs for 7, gets the San Francisco first down.
You know, sometimes, Kevin, when you get man-to-man coverage, you've got to take it. You've got these routes, these seam routes. Look at Quentin Patton. Throw it to him. You got the corner trail technique. He's got his eyes. See the quarterback? That's part of the problem with Kaepernick. You know, they're not always going to be wide open. You've got to give these receivers a chance to make a play down the field.
tight ends after the first down run by Kaepernick. This is Hyde. He was grabbed by Dumerville and picks up 3 on the play. Down to the 11, playing more under center too is Kaepernick, and we saw it last week in that Sunday game against the Giants.
When he's under center, you really got to be alert for the run play action. And I think the Ravens really have to do a good job stopping the runs to the left, to their right. High percentage of runs are to the left, and one not behind Alex Boone and Joe Staley.
It was Will Lloyd who just picked off Flacco moments ago. It's second down. The acceleration, and then hit by Lawrence Guy as he gets down to about the 8. Game 3.
You look at both of these running backs in today's game, Carlos Hyde and Justin Forsett. Both of them run right through arm tackles. And I think you got to bring your big boy pass to get these two guys on the ground. Carlos Hyde is a determined runner. In fact, he was fined last week for lowering and using the crown of his helmet on a hit on John Beeson. He'll knock back.
Watch Bolden on this one. Bottom of your screen. 3rd and 4. He's one of the big red zone receivers in the league. And that's he's almost hipped off. He was going for Bolden. Then McClellan jumped up and knocked it away. And McClellan, who started the season as an inside backer, now playing outside linebacker for the Raven D.
McClellan, great reaction here. You're going to see his vertical jump. For a second there, he may pick off.
Rich, that's the second batted down ball that Kaepernick has thrown in the first half.
It's tough. You got to come out, you got to fire out, and you got to cut them. You got to get their hands down so they can't bat balls at the line of scrimmage.
Phil Dawson again. 53-yard field goal is our first score of the game. This one from 26 yards away. And 4 consecutive possessions of scoring for San Francisco. A 26-yard field goal cashing in on their Will Hoyt linebacker interception. And a 16-3 lead midway the second. 50 years of Super Bowls. Super Bowl 50 or 49 years of Super Bowls. And 50 will be right here in Santa Clara, South San Francisco, in the Bay Area. Tom Sula in his first year, longtime assistant coach. A grinder, too. Was overseas coaching in NFL Europe. It's been called a lot of things, World League of American Football, but he was over there, and that's where he kind of cut his teeth on this game, this pro football game.
Yeah, and you know, he's a guy that's well respected. When you visit with these players here in San Francisco, Kevin, they love playing for Jim Tula.
Pinion bounces over the head of the smash Ross, and once again touched back to the 20-yard line with the first down. So 60 minutes tonight, we'll have Darrelle Revis. He's one of the greatest on and off the field, plus the generous spirit and people behind Make-A-Wish, only tonight on 60 Minutes. That'll be interesting to watch. Revis, the Jets today, beating the Redskins.
Playing really well defensively.
You and I have them in a couple weeks in Oakland. Jets at the Raiders. 1st and 10, Flacco. Good play. Steve Smith shoved out of bounds right in front of us here by Aaron Lynch. With a gain of about 6 on play, plays him at the 26-yard line.
Kevin, you and I were talking. Look at these first 4 possessions for the Ravens. They just look flat to me. You know, not playing fast offensively. You mentioned a number of players that have been hurt and haven't practiced, but this is can't take this 49ers defense lightly. Even though they're 31st in defense, giving up over 400 yards a game, they still play physical up front.
Forsett on 2nd down and 4 and finds a blockade. There's not a whole lot there. Looked like Quentin Dial had the stop on a gain of Rich. This has been a very high-tempo offense, too. Baltimore, number 4, how often they run plays league-wide.
Yeah, they really are. And I think, you know, I'm talking to Mark Trestman. I thought it was interesting, Kevin. He said they didn't get caught up in watching the film of the blowouts that the 49ers had against teams like Pittsburgh and Arizona. Rather, they went back and really studied what they did week 1 against Minnesota, did against the Green Bay Packers, where they really played well on defense.
Trestman, the former head coach for the Chicago Bulls. It's 3rd and long run. It looks like they got the first down out to the 31-yard line with the gain of 3. Jeremy Ross. And they'll move the chains for the Ravens.
You look at the score, Raven down 16-3, Kevin, and you know, you look, we talk about 204 teams. The loser in this one's going to drop to 1-5, making it difficult, if not impossible, to climb into the postseason.
What you say the other day about Flacco? 4 offensive coordinators last 4 years.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, and I think you're always having to adapt, and I think we're still going through a break-in period, if you will.
Going deep, Flacco with his receiver across. That's Steve Smith, who stiff arms his way into defense of Tremaine Brock and runs out of real estate. He's down to the 40-yard line of San Francisco. 29-yard pickup.
Look at this, is a really nice route. He's going to push in, and then he works right back out against Antoine Bethea. He's going to put that ball away. You know, you just, Kevin, I can only speak as a quarterback when you don't have your top receiver, how difficult it can be. Because now it's kind of a trickle-down effect. You know, now everyone's able to play, you know, not the double Steve Smith, and they're able to play an extra man down on the line of scrimmage. It makes everything else you do more difficult.
This is forced with a good block by Monroe. And a good block by wide receiver Brown, plowing his way to the 18-yard line of San Francisco. Bowman brings him down, a 22-yard gain.
Well, they love runs to the right. Some of his best runs are to the right. And had a lot of explosive runs in this one. A lot of runs of 10 yards or more. In fact, he and Carlos Hyde, I think, are second and third most runs of 10 yards or more through the first 5 games.
Rookie Buck Allen is in now, 1st and 10, and this is Allen, a rookie out of USC, wrapped up by Quentin Dial with no gain on the play. They stay at the 18-yard line.
You know, just in talking with John Harbaugh on Saturday morning, he had great respect for the front 7 of this San Francisco defense. Now, this is a defense a lot different than what he's used to. Certainly not the same defense he faced in the Super Bowl, but you got a different defensive coordinator in Eric Mangini. Vic Fangio is no longer there, but they're not as complicated. They're not doing as much defensively. They'll line up and be physical with you up front.
Second down and 10 for Flacco. Is going for the rookie running back. It's off his fingertips. He had the coverage by the linebacker Lynch. Allen cannot hold on. It's 3rd down and 10.
It's actually a pretty good throw by Joe Flacco. Would have been a tough catch for Buck Allen. Pretty nice coverage on the play by Aaron Lynch. But at least Flacco's give him an opportunity to make a play in the back of the end zone.
Kamar Aiken hasn't caught anything today. 3rd and 10. 5 defensive backs. Here goes for Smith, and he dropped the ball again in the end zone. Tremaine Brock was there with the coverage in the secondary for San Francisco.
Well, these safeties get so wide that they're attacking in the middle of the field. They're going after Navarro Bowman, the guy that has not been the same player since that knee surgery, in coverage anyway. Steve Smith not able to make the grab.
So here's Justin Tucker already nailing one from 22. This will be a 36-yard try. Big play is a 29-yard catch and run by Smith. Forsett had a run at 22. 3 more on the board for the Ravens. Make it 16-6 with 4:14. The 5-time Pro Bowler Smith injured but playing today in the Bay Area. Back on October 5th, some members of the San Francisco 49ers visited the USS Somerset at the start of Fleet Week to spend some time with the crew. We put them through some football drills and showed the crew how much they appreciate their service to our country. All over the country, we see men and women of our armed forces who are held up for all the fans to see, and much applause and much appreciation showered their way as is deserved. So we've had each with a couple red zone possessions, each team with 2 field goals apiece, and Tucker, he'll bang this one to the end zone. San Francisco will start once again, 1st and 10 at their 20 when they come back. Kaepernick, 10-17, over 200 yards and a touchdown pass today. Well, they love their Niners, and coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for scores and news and highlights. They're getting ready right now. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. From our CBS studios in New York, Kevin Harlan, Rich Hannon, Jamie Erdahl here in Santa Clara. Jeep Christ in this offense. Moving well. Kaepernick at the helm, 1st and 10. After a field goal moments ago by Baltimore. Kaepernick deep And right in front of Sharice, they've got Torrey Smith. That was the matchup to watch today. Gain of 18 on the play, up to the 38-yard line at San Francisco.
Well, for an offense that hasn't had a lot of production in the passing game, they look really sharp right now. Kevin, you mentioned Kaepernick already for over 220 yards in the first half. You got to give some thumbs up to Jeep Chris. He's doing whatever he has to do to help the quarterback feel comfortable and yet at the same time get better production and consistency out of the rest of this offense.
Camp on first 10 and goes up and a gain of 4. It was hauled in by Hyde at the 42. I like Jamie's story at the top of the game about how they went back and looked at every throw Chris did, along with Kaepernick, who watched most of them. Over 50, she said 1,500 passes. Wow.
And what they really tried to find out is what is he good? What is he comfortable with? What are some throws in the system that make sense to him, and really feature those in the game plan moving forward.
Second zip handoff here to Hyde. And he is brought down in the play by a couple, including Williams. Gain of 3. Jamie?
Well, speaking of that efficiency that Colin Kaepernick has developed, he worked with Kurt Warner this offseason to go through a major film session with him, but also to work with someone who can't get out of the pocket as easily as Kaepernick can. He wanted to learn the thought process of a quarterback who doesn't have the legs that Kaepernick does, so he can learn how to throw more efficiently.
Kurt Warner, a pretty good guy to go to, I'd say.
Really a great guy to go to, a good mentor, and someone I think that can really help Colin Kaepernick function from the pocket.
With a 3rd and 3, Hayne was in the backfield, and they blow that dead with a offense foul.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Rich, Kaepernick goes someplace every offseason to work with a different mentor, different kind of group of offseason workers.
Yes, his rookie year, he went back to Florida and worked with the folks that helped train him, get him ready for the combines. Every offseason, Ken, especially now because of all the rules that we have in place where you're limited in terms of the amount of days you're allowed to spend at the facility. But he has really taken it on it. He's taken the initiative to really go out on his own and work with people who he feels can help him perform better as a quarterback of the 49ers.
Hayne is in, 3rd and 8. Kaepernick grabbed from behind, brought down. They had Jernigan and they had Smith right there. They lead the NFL in 3rd down sacks, and they showed it right there with Smith coming through his 2nd sack of the season. They get Cap back at the 34. We're at the 2-minute warning. Back in Santa Clara, Baltimore 3 timeout, San Francisco with 2. We're at the 2-minute warning. There's a punt coming up. Bradley Pinion with his 2nd punt of the day for the Niners. Ross. He was put down after a return of 9 yards and a 42-yard punt. Joe Flacco back out there.
Yeah, they struggled a bit here in the first half, Kevin. He hadn't gotten off to a start. He's been pressured in the pocket. You see Bowman gets him on the ground. Overthrows Mar Aiken. They just haven't been in rhythm in the passing. And, of course, the interception trying to force one to Aiken across the middle. Michael Wilhoit jumped in front of it for the easy pick. You see Flacco's numbers, 9 of 17. And the 1 pick in the first half.
Ravens have gotten field goals today, 22 yards and 36 yards by Justin Tucker. Timeouts, 1st and 10 flat. Underneath. And met by a welcoming committee at about the 35-yard line, and a gain of 2 is for set. 2nd down and 8.
We've got all 3 timeouts. They have to have a sense of urgency here. They're kind of taking their time as the clock runs down inside a minute and a half.
Flacco, 2nd down and 8. Underneath again, there's Forsett, and there is Wilhoit. Gain of 5 to the 40-yard line. And about 3 to go for first.
We're going to save that timeout until after they make the first. I'm afraid if they don't convert here, they'll get the ball back to the 49ers with a couple timeouts.
In the nickel, 3rd and 3. And he's got Brown or Aiken, one of the two. They're crossing each other, and the ball lands between them complete. It's 4th and 3. They have decided to punt. And now 48 seconds to go. San Francisco will have 2 timeouts. And they'll have Hayne back to retrieve the punt.
This one looked odd to me because I didn't think this was a bad throw. It just seemed like either Marlon Brown didn't see it, he wasn't able to adjust. Maybe because Ahmad Brooks jumped up, he didn't quite get a look at it. Thought Brown could have done a better job throttling and sitting down in the hole.
The cut one. And Hayne waving his arms for the catch back at about the 8 with a 52-yarder by Cook. And Kaepernick with under a minute to go in the first half and back out there. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowell for score, news, and highlights. That's next from New York on the Verizon Halftime Report. What a day of football, overtimes, comebacks. Detroit getting their first win. Denver remaining unbeaten, all part of a very busy week in the NFL.
Yeah, it's been great. And we've had a good first half of football here, Kevin. That 49ers have been really impressive offensively. Had a lot of success running the football as much, but Kaepernick has done a nice job, especially on the early downs, getting the ball out quickly. They've done a nice job changing his launch point, and him outside the pocket, letting him throw the ball a little bit on the move as well.
Couple tight ends here for Carlos Hyde as he is wrapped up and brought down by Mosley after a gain of a yard to about the 9. Well, again, nice continuing what they showed in New York last week. Rich showing some heart and some fight and some toughness. And timeout has been taken.
Yeah, I think they're just content to run this thing out and go into the half up 16-6. I think you're seeing progress with Kaepernick's offense. Remember, can you go back a couple weeks ago? He did not play well. In fact, had one of his worst performances in his career against the Cardinals. He threw those 2 first-half interceptions. He threw 4 picks in that game. Came back the next week against the Packers at Lambeau and was tentative. And I thought last week he really cut it loose and was more aggressive. So we're hoping that he can build on that. You see last week, complete percentage was good, 262 passing yards. And the big number, the important number to me, the two touchdowns with no interceptions.
Second down and 9. Hyde. He finds some room to roam, and he's up at the 28-yard line. Brought down secondary. It's a gain of 14 by Hyde. So 4 straight losses for the Niners coming into today. 1-4. Last place in the NFC West. Losing 4 of the first 5 is Baltimore. They're in last place in the AFC North. The first time in franchise history the Ravens have gone 1-4. And that will do it for the first half. Has seen a 76-yard touchdown pass. Kaepernick to Torrey Smith, and field goals of 53, 31, and 26 yards by kicker Phil Dawson. Harbaugh and his Ravens have been involved in 2 consecutive overtime games, one in Pittsburgh where they won on a Thursday last week when they took on Cleveland at home and lost.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall at Ravens locker room. I think it's going to be pretty heated.
Jamie Erdahl is downstairs.
Coach, a couple of field goals and a big Torrey Smith possession there puts you on the board. How have you found success in the red zone today?
Well, we've got to find more success in the red zone. We don't want those we appreciate the field goals, but we need 7. So we've got to do a better job right there. We've got to punch it in.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Zazula told us that taking the practices to the games is something that the entire team needed to do. They've been practicing well, but struggling when they play. Looks like they have found the rhythm, though, over the last couple of weeks, and they've got Baltimore down by 10 at halftime. It's a San Francisco 6-6 lead with the Baltimore Ravens on the road. Now, who do you love? Presented by McDonald's. Kaepernick looking for his wideout, Torrey Smith. A 76-yard strike and a touchdown. Biggest play of the first half. 10-point Niner lead. With Gannon, Kevin Holland here in the Bay Area with Colin Kaepernick, who has played well. How about keys now for the second half?
Well, Kevin, Ravens gotten off to a really slow start, really on both sides of the ball, just 6 points. They've come out here, I think, to be more explosive offensively and take some chances. I think defensively, they got to cover in the middle of the field. They've got a lot of big plays there. You look at the 49ers, I think they have to continue to be aggressive offensively. Kaepernick has already thrown for 225 yards, and I think defensively, continue to stop the run and make Flacco throw it a bunch here in the second half.
Remember, the Niners won the toss. They received to begin the game. And now they'll kick off to start the second half. With Ross, deep back, played at Cal. And our second half is underway in Santa Clara. He'll leave it there to the 20-yard line for Flacco and the Raven offense. Downstairs, Jamie Erdahl.
I think Rich Gannon, a mind reader, because John Harbaugh just told me all of those things coming out of the locker room. Expect a balanced attack once again. The Ravens in both the pass and run game. Defensively, from his mouth, Harbaugh said they need to be more disciplined on the back end.
Jamie, I hate it when I steal your thunder.
Oh, come on.
John Harbaugh hopes he has some thunder with this team right now with the 1st and 10 at his 20. Right in the second half, Flacco. Check. And the tight end who had an 8-yard touchdown reception last week is grabbed by Wilhoit. Brought down at the 36. Can run a 16 first down and some of the numbers in the first half here.
Well, look at the 220 passing yards for the 49ers. How about those yards per play? 8.2, and a lot of them coming on the early downs. Ravens have to do a better job defensively. We talked about defending the middle of the field. You know, last week, Kevin, a lot of what the Ravens did came off the run. But they haven't run the ball very well in the early downs. For set just 36 yards on 7 carries.
Yeah, 57, say it.
Timeout taken by Baltimore. There were 5 in secondary for San Francisco.
Some confusion early. Wow.
Baltimore had 4 straight games of producing at least 350 yards of offense. 377 last week against Cleveland. And here were some of the, in fact, all the positions in the first half here in the Bay Area.
These are demoralizing. Can I circle these 3 and outs? They just look out of sync offensively. We talked about a lot of the success that they've had this year has been when they run the football early, and they've run it well with Justin Forsett. And then, of course, off of that, Mark Trestman likes to circle back around and use the play action game. Well, when you're not running the ball well, it makes it difficult. And again, they've had so many injuries at the tight end position with Gilmore and Steve Smith being out that don't have the rhythm right now in the passing game.
3rd and 10. Outside Williams. Lynch was him up, brought down after a gain of 2 to the 39-yard line.
So everything they can just to get back to the line of scrimmage, trying to little screen out the back door to Max Williams.
When a quarterback is getting the call from his play caller, Trestman's case, how much besides the play is he given? Any other information, Rich, when you watch?
Yeah, I mean, if you got a good rapport and a good relationship with the play caller, he's going to tell you why he's calling the play. I think that's really important.
2nd down and 8. Small gain there, taken by the running back Forsett. So there's more to it than just the play call.
I think the why is so important. You know, why is the offensive coordinator calling this play in this particular situation? Once you understand the why, then it all begins to make sense. Hey, Joe, I'm calling this play. I'm anticipating 2 deep coverage. Hey, Joe, I'm expecting blitz here. If they don't blitz, get me to a run. I mean, those type of little tips and reminders are so critical for the quarterback.
All the things a quarterback's got to process at the line. 3rd and 6. A lot to process here for Flacco. In the nickel. And he's got Smith, and he's got the first down. He's upended by Tart. He gets to the 49, close to the 5th catch and run of 8. And that was on 3rd and 6.
A little crossing route from Steve Smith. He's going to go underneath the tight end. Brooks trying to cover him. That's the matchup they want. Trying to get Steve Smith matched up on those linebackers inside.
Steve Smith with 8 1,000-yard seasons. He's 36 years of age. He's the 13th all-time leading NFL receiver in terms of receptions with the first down here at the 49. To Forsett. And a good fake, too, but now Flacco is searching and running. Lynch is on his heels and out of bounds ago. 2nd down 10.
Well, you look at this. They're trying to take the shot downfield. Go ahead and run it. Joe Flacco wants to throw this ball deep. You go ahead and freeze it right about there. Where are you going to throw it? You've got a safety on the backside. Everybody is accounted for in their man-to-man coverage. Really nice job on the back end by the 49ers.
Niner defense, as we mentioned earlier, comes in number 31. Baltimore's offense number 12. It's 2nd down and 10. Flacco the gun. Outside for Ross with blockers. Include Zuda and Wagner. Down to the 43. He's brought down by Bowman and picks up 8 in the play.
Really nice job by Zuda and Wagner. Kevin, as you point out, these guys are going to get out in front of it. They're just going to kick this thing out quickly to Jeremy Ross. Now watch the lineman get out in front and try and get some blocks downfield for their buddy.
It's an offense to Baltimore that set single-season offensive records a season ago.
This may be 4-down territory, Kevin, for the Ravens. Down 16-6.
3rd and 2 for 6. Yonder was open with the block. Bowman couldn't bring him down. Got to the 41. Very close to a first down for the Ravens.
You know, I talked to Dean Pease on Friday, and one of the things he said to me is that we have to stop playing cautious. And I think it's a message for everyone associated with this Ravens football team. You're 1-4. I mean, stop playing scared. Cut it loose. Somebody's got to make a play in critical situation, and that hasn't happened a lot for the Ravens this year. It's a big reason why, Kevin, they're 1-4.
This their 4th road game in the first 6 weeks. They're checking for 8th play of the drive. Buck Allen is in. Rookie USC origin from the 41. Again, they send guys at Flacco, including Brooks, and deep downfield he throws, and it's picked off on the play. Ecker, who's finding a seam and on the move and makes it past midfield and brought down by Yanda. Kenneth Ecker with his 2nd interception of the season. Flacco with his 6th pick of the year. 46-yard return.
Look at him throwing off his back foot. I mean, this is an awful, awful decision by Joe Flacco, a guy that should know better. Late throws down the middle are never a good thing. Wow.
So the linebacker, Will Hoyt, got in the first half. The defensive back, the right corner, Kenneth Ecker out of SN, gets him right there. So with the 2nd interception thrown by Flacco, the 38-yard line, it's 1st and 10 for Kaepernick. Carlos Hyde. Ooh.
He just
what
went
was
down
that?
his
He
own.
sure did. Lost a yard and
Left ankle, maybe?
well, you could see it, and they run out there in a hurry.
Just watch him. He's going to start out to his left. These little jump cuts, and then he takes an awkward step there, and he just kind of goes down on his own.
Jernigan fell on him, but that was easily before Hyde had gone down. So a timeout, injury timeout, 10:13 to play in the 3rd quarter with the Niners up by 10. The 2nd-year running back, Carlos Hyde, had hurt his foot in Thursday practice here, so he came in with that on the injury report. There is no Reggie Bush today because he's out with a calf issue. Jared Hayne is in, set down in 12. Kaepernick chased by Doomerville. One house to Vernon Davis, the tight end, who's missed a couple games with an injury. Incomplete, 3rd and 12.
It's really hard to tell. We looked at this a couple times to try and get a sense of just come down. Again, Kevin, as you point out, that's the foot that he had an issue with at practice on Thursday.
They do have Mike Davis. He is a running back out of South Carolina. Hayne remains down in 12.
Even if they get half of it here, Kevin, will really help him in terms of the field goal.
Kaepernick, a quick hitter. And from Bolden. First down. Breaking tackles. And spins his way to the 13-yard line. A 27-yard catch and run. Another big play of over 20 yards through the air for San Francisco.
A pop pass, and he is still so crafty and physical with the ball in his hands, Anquan Bolden.
He was traded from Baltimore here to San Francisco in 2013. Player down, and that is Kendrick Lewis. This is something that secondary for Baltimore can't withstand another injury. Been hit hard.
Will Davis out, Terrence Brooks.
That's just this week. We step aside, 9:41 third. starter Kendrick Lewis, the free safety, who is free agent from the Houston Texans, taken off the field. Drafted in the 5th round by Kansas City. Star there. Out now. Brendan Trowick will take his place. 1st and 10. San Francisco. High back in.
That didn't take too long, did it?
Nope. Hill missed the tackle. Got him around the ankles. Gain of 2. They'll put him at the 12.
As we see Kendrick Lewis, Kevin, leave the field, I mean, you mentioned that how banged up they are. Just keeping on his left knee. Just kind of goes back on that left knee awkwardly, and see him, he's grimacing on the field in pain.
With a 2nd down and 8, Hyde. Williams got him. And then he was finished off by the high pick of Alabama a couple years ago. Upshaw, loss of 4. Jamie, what do you have?
Well, it was a bit of a scare for Carlos Hyde. He came off to the sideline, went up on his tiptoes a couple times, jogged in place, up and down the sideline a few times, but he is back in the game, seems okay. Also to note, keep an eye on Varro Bowman. He was having his neck checked out on the 49ers sideline, so just keep an eye on him. Nothing official from the team.
Thank you. We'll also try to get an update on Kendrick Lewis, and we just saw him leave the field. 3rd down and 12. Bowman is resting with his offense out there, and Kaepernick needs the 4. First.
Blitz.
Dumerville can't get him, but Smith does, and Dumerville finishes him off with the sack. It's back at the 25. It's a loss of 8, and they will try for 3.
Well, you're going to see Smith and then Dumerville off the edge. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that Elvis Dumerville can still rush the passer, Kevin. Had 17 sacks last year. It was good for 3rd. Not bad for a situational pass rusher a year ago.
Dumerville has had his own injuries. A thigh this week, a groin in the game against Cleveland, where he had to be taken out. Here is a 42-yard field goal now to Phil Dawson. And it's perfect. Field goal 53-31, 26 and right there, 42 yards. They cash in on the interception by Acker and lead 19-6. Next Sunday, wake and watch with the world. For the first time ever, the NFL is streaming a live game on Yahoo. Bills against Jaguars live from London Wembley Stadium. October 25th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Learn more at yahoo.com/NFL stream. Here in San Francisco, Santa Clara area, home of Super Bowl 50. Joe Flacco has thrown a couple of picks. San Francisco has converted a little bit. They've gotten 6 points out of them. And here's the ensuing kickoff after the 42-yard field goal by Dawson. Get a touchback, and Flacco is out there down 19-6 in the 3rd. Phil Dawson has kicked 4 field goals for San Francisco this afternoon. A 76-yard touchdown pass to Torrey from Kaepernick. That's our story. 1st and 10. It's 4 set. Clogged up there. Quentin Dial with a gain of 2 on the play to the 22. Jamie's downstairs.
Kevin, more defensive woes for the Baltimore Ravens. Kendrick Lewis, the safety that went off, doubtful to return with a left knee injury.
Thank you. 2nd down and 8. Like I talked about before, a depleted secondary for Harbaugh's Ravens.
Yeah, a lot of players didn't practice, a lot of change, a lot of turnover in the roster. They made some roster moves this week, but brought some players up the practice squad in the secondary.
Darius Webb inactive with an injury. Here's a 2nd down. They go upstairs, and it's caught by Forsett, who got a use check block, and then a tackle by Acker. He's over to about the 32-yard line. That's a gain of 11 on 2nd and 8, and the 1st down for Baltimore.
Well, you know what I always say, you never go broke taking a profit. You got Justin Forsett wide open over the football. Got to get something going right now. Offensively, the Ravens, we said, to wake up here in the 2nd half.
Forsett comes into today as the #1 rusher in the AFC, number 5 in the NFL. With the 1st and 10. Monroe the block at the left tackle. Marlon Brown. Rolled hands on the side and get nailed at about the 41-yard line. Hit on the play by Tremaine Rockin. Picks up 9.
You look at Brown there, Ken. He and Aiken were understudies last year to Steve Smith and Torrey Smith. Both had just 24 receptions. They're really counting on both of the young players. Need better production and consistency opposite Steve Smith.
Torrey Smith had 11 touchdown catches last year for the Ravens. Allen's in, 2nd and 1. Buck. Dorsey makes the stop. Glenn Dorsey after the gain of 3 and a first down dive to the 44.
I've really been impressed with this 49ers defense. Kevin, you've mentioned Dial a couple times now. He's done a nice job against the run inside, taking on those double teams, all the dirty work. The linebackers have played better in their zone coverages. And the corners, who I had some concern about coming into today's game, as I studied the film, Kevin, they get a lot of big plays. They're doing a good job keeping things in front of them and limiting explosive plays.
First and 10. Allen on Baldwin, the 48, and brought down by Wilhoit on a quick gain of 8 on first down.
Really enjoyed our visit with NaVar Bowman on Friday. I mean, he's still leading the team in tackles, still very solid, instinctive linebacker in this 3-4 defense. But it just gives you chills when you hear that every day he wakes up, he talks about stiffness in the paint for the first couple hours until he's able to loosen up that knee. Devastating injury that not a lot of players can come back from.
MCL, ACL, here comes Allen with the dive on second down and 2 and should be close to a first down at the 46. Navarro Bowman was raised in Maryland, born in Maryland, high school defensive player of the year in the state. And I'm sure when he wakes up in the morning and gets his body ready, and it takes almost a couple hours, he thinks about what's around him. And what's around him defensively now is so different than what
I mean, that's the thing that people don't realize. I mean, you lose some really good players, Berlin and Patrick Willis and Justin Smith, Alden Smith. They're really good players that brought leadership and toughness to this 49ers defense.
Forsett is in, gets the pitch, and here's a flea flicker. Look at the times of Flacco, but he has to go underneath. And he goes back to Forsett. He's down to the 35, and he's brought down by Antoine Bethune. He picks up 11 on the play. That was Forsett to Flacco to Forsett for first.
Really nice job here, Kevin, by Joe Flacco. They call the shot play, the flea flicker, and it's not there. So he does the next best thing. He just throws it to Justin Forsett, and you move on. And this is progress. We saw the other series where he threw the ball right down the middle.
Flacco on this drive, 4 of 4 with the first one at the 35.
Big on!
Forsett with the Zuda block. And hit by Reed from the secondary to the 29 and a gain of 6. Flacco is 8th year out of Delaware. 118th consecutive game play and start today, right in back of Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers in terms of quarterbacks' consecutive appearances. Not too bad. He's been durable. 9th play of the drive. Flags are thrown. On second down and 4.
A lot of mistakes.
Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Right tackle Rick Wagner.
Their losses, Kevin, they've made way too many mistakes on offense. And they've failed to finish when they've had opportunities. They're not good enough right now to be able to overcome all the mistakes. Turnovers, the penalties, missed assignments.
Only the 4th penalty of the game, 2 apiece. Penalties have been issued. They've been penalized, the 3rd most the Ravens have this year. Second down and 9. Going deep and looking for Smith, and he's got the ball. Touchdown! What a catch! 34-yard strike. He beat Acker and stayed in.
Well, first of all, what a terrific throw. It's going to be a little double move, a little out and up. Acker's actually in good position there, but Steve Smith goes up and makes an incredible grab. I think he's in there. I think his back hits the ground before he goes out of bounds with the football.
I think 2 cheeks equal 1 knee, huh?
I think you're right.
1 foot.
Eric Mangini told us on Friday, we cannot let Flacco throw a ball over the top of our defense. He's got a big-time arm.
He's had a terrific start to the season. Of course, was injured against Pittsburgh. Began the year with a couple of back-backs. 10 reception, 150-yard game. Tucker will nail one more on there, and the Ravens are back in business. In the 3rd, 2:29 go. San Francisco's lead is cut. 19-13. And the terrific Steve Smith comes up with a wonderful catch for the Baltimore Ravens. Smith had a couple that got away from him early in the game in the end zone. Nails that one with a nice long throw by Flacco.
Yeah, his deep ball placement on the deep throws, Kevin, is really impressive. Giving Steve Smith a chance to make a play in the back of the end zone.
DeAndrew is in the back of the end zone as Tucker will boot it to him and over his head. And into the cheerleaders. Look out, ladies.
Well, Steve Smith was close a couple times, Kevin. We always say if at first you don't succeed, try again. And here's the third one. Terrific concentration by Steve Smith. He brings energy to this football team. And Kevin, right now, they're in desperate need of some juice. That's what Steve Smith gives you at wide receiver.
Two last place teams in their respective divisions, both 1-4. Here's a 15-10 Kaepernick. Right to work and going deep. Working on Sharice Wright. Signed off the street this week. One for Torrey Smith, who earlier on was connecting with Kaepernick on a 76-yard touchdown pass. I like what Gene Christ told you about Kaepernick. He said he is not a cookie-cutter quarterback.
It really isn't, and I think you've got to embrace who he is, and what he does well, and really try and focus on those things. And I think a lot of it is, Kevin, the throw on the first down and some of the throws off of movement.
Hain with the block, Golden with the drop, coverage by Mosley, and there is no yellow on the field.
You're going to see C.J. Mosley, who had some struggles last week in their zone scheme. He gets there a bit early on Anquan Bolden. Had a good visit with him as well on Saturday. He was not at all pleased with his performance last week. You think about Gary Barnidge had a big day against this Ravens defense, as did Duke Johnson. Didn't do a good enough job in their zone schemes identifying the crosser.
Third down and 10. Pollock continues to take the place for Lewis in the secondary. He got away from Smith. Looking for Torrey Smith with coverage by Jimmy Smith. Out of Smith's incompletion, the result. First 3 and out this afternoon for San Francisco.
And sometimes a big play by your offense, Kevin, can help get you going defensively and get you back in this football game.
Bradley Pinion, who struggled with his net last week in the Meadowlands against the Giants, will be punting here with a breeze in his face in the Bay Area. This is a bad net. Takes rid of a bounce there for the Niners. The hang time is 3-9. They want you over 4.5. 38-yard punt. Here comes Joe Flacco, down now by just 6. He just threw a 34-yard touchdown pass. And he's ready to go once again here in the Bay Area on CBS. Of those numbers right there on Flacco, Steve Smith has 96 yards.
And Joe Flacco, Kevin, how many times have we seen this from him in the past where he struggles early in games and yet comes back and really plays well in the second half? He's unflappable. Something bad happens, it never seems to bother him. I think the key is doesn't let it affect the next play.
Good beginning field position too at their 44 with the 1st and 10. Flacco, cracked it, Gilmore. Bowman's got him on the cross, the 47-yard line, gain of 9 on 1st down.
You love Crockett Gilmore because he's such a big target for Flacco. He's 6'6", he's 270 pounds. You're going to see him just run on the crossing route.
He's had that calf injury, missed a couple games.
As a quarterback, I love the big tight ends. Just felt like if I got it in their area, they'd come down with the catch.
Big catching radius. 2nd and 1 for Seth. Pro Bowler a season ago, the former Seahawk to the 44. He picks up a 1st down after a gain of 3. Flacco, number 2, Rich, in regular season wins. With Peyton Manning, their tie. Manning went up today. Brady, number 1, and ahead of guys like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
He just keeps hanging around. You know, we don't talk about Flacco as, you know, one of the elite quarterbacks, or whatever the term is that everyone likes to throw around. But yet, Kevin, he's tough, durable. He doesn't miss starts, and he always seems to have his team hanging around at the end.
1st and 10. With the run by Dorsett and a big red wall there to meet him, led by Ian Williams and others against 3 and down to the 41. That since Flacco, by the way, has been in the league. Super Bowl MVP against these 49ers in New Orleans was Joe Flacco. But inflammable's a very good word to use. He doesn't seem to have that meter jump off the screen. He's pretty level, doesn't he?
No, he just has to smooth out some of the rough edges. He puts his team in some bad spots when he gets off those rough starts early.
2nd and 7. Kamar Aiken, who has come off the track squad a couple years ago, began that way with Buffalo. He gets down to the 35. He was brought down by Brock, and he picks up about 8, which takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the Ravens on the move and down now by just 6 on CBS. We begin the 4th quarter here in Santa Clara with the Ravens on the move and down by 6. 2 interceptions thrown by Flacco, 1 touchdown, the 34-yarder to Steve Smith the last time they had the ball. Now at the San Francisco 33 with 1st and 10. Flacco through the air, 22 of 33 to 25. Into the 4 defensive back secondary, and he goes outside of the tight end Williams, and knocked out of bounds by Wilhoit. He picks up 5 down to the 28.
You look at how close these games have been this year for the Ravens, Kevin. The only team in the league this season has seen each of their games decided by fewer 7 points. In fact, the last 4 were decided by 4 points or less. And, this is the NFL. You have to have that mindset that every game is going to be close. But you talk about Flacco and how unflappable he is. Since the 2nd interception, he's a perfect 8 for 8.
2nd 5 for Set, hit by Brooks. Gain of a yard to the 26, and all those losses were to former Raven assistant coaches.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's something else. They've lost those 4 games by a total of 17 points. A margin overall in those losses of 4.25.
Well, the one thing you do know about Ravens, Kevin, is that they're going to be there late in games. They haven't always won them, but they're going to be there. This is a team that will fight you to the finish.
3rd and 4. Defensive backs. Flacco. Incomplete. Aiken was in his sights downfield. And Jermaine Brock, better not a Bellhaven, was hovering on the play for San Francisco's secondary. The field goal unit is on now for Baltimore.
That had no chance. It was great coverage by Brock. 2 good kickers in this one, huh, Kevin?
Justin Tucker, last couple weeks, he's kicked the team into overtime in Pittsburgh and against Cleveland at home. This up today, 22 yards, 36 yards. This is a 45-yard try to get within a field goal. And he fell, and he hits the upright. He fell on the turf, and he's had trouble with the turf here. Watch him. Slipped, big divot. Super Bowl 47 to the Ravens against the Niners, and brother against brother, Jacoby Jones. In the second half, electrified everybody with a couple of explosive plays before the lights went out in the Superdome. Niners' last offensive play produced controversy, but Baltimore would come out on top, winning 34-31. One of the coaches remains, one of the Harbaugh brothers. Both quarterbacks remain.
That's about it. Not a lot of players.
1st and 10, fake to hide. Here comes Upshaw. There goes Kaepernick, and Guy hits him from behind. Goes him for a 1-yard loss back to the 34. Lawrence Guy. He's replacing the injured Chris Kenny on that line for Baltimore.
Well, it's tough when you don't block the end man on the line of scrimmage. I mean, Upshaw gets a clean shot at Kaepernick, and he forces him right back up inside for Guy.
Guy originally a Green Bay 7th-round pick. He's been with Indy. The Chargers, now the Ravens. 3rd sack of the day in a Timeout taken by San Francisco with 13 minutes to play. I'd like to remind you, your weekend starts right here on CBS when the Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers clash in an NFC West battle. Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. And you can see what they have done since 2002. Rich, back to the mechanics of Kaepernick. I know you mentioned earlier Joe Montana, the great Hall of Famer, weighed in on Kaepernick, and that's been really the big conversation here in the area about what he should and how he should perform.
Yeah, even his former college coach Chris All weighed in this week, Kevin, in terms of his throwing motion, and we talked to Kaepernick about that on Friday. He said, look, everyone wants me to throw it from a higher position. It's not a natural thing for me.
Tied with the flag thrown. Tackle made by Doomerville on a gain of 4 up to the 37.
He's got a bit of an elongated motion. We know that about him.
Holding. Offense. Number 66. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, we should talk about elbow placement in his stance, the overall throwing motion.
Well, I think it does take a while to get the ball out of his hands, and I think at times it seems like he's in between what to do. I think he has at times has a difficult time working through the progression. I think you study the tape, very rarely do you see him get to the third receiver in the progression. That being said, there are things you can do. We talk about starting the arm earlier in the quick throws and things like that that I think can help him, especially in the short game.
Got a second down and 21 right now. Moves out of harm's way, chased by Doomerville, going deep for Bolden. What a catch! He got it by Jimmy Smith. He takes it down to the 25 of Atlanta, Baltimore. And Quan Bolden good for 51 yards and slow to get up.
Yeah, we critique his throwing mechanics, Kevin, and no sooner do we do that, we see him make a marvelous throw outside the pocket on the move. Not a lot of quarterbacks can even make this throw, and he puts it right in the perfect spot for Anquan Bolden. I think really when Kaepernick's at his best, Kevin, it's on the move. It just seems so natural and so fluid for him.
Bolden walking off. There's your 13th all-time receiver, 20th all-time in yards, and a couple former Ravens, Smith and Bolden, with a lot of yards through the air. Bolden now over 100. Kaepernick has just gone over 300 yards, in 302 to be exact, and he's got him in very good position at the Raven 25.
What if former 49er wide receiver Terrell Owens used to say, let me be me? I think they've got to let Colin Kaepernick be Colin Kaepernick. What does he do best? And really focus on those concepts. And I think you got to give Jeep Chris, the offensive coordinator, some credit. I see a different philosophy, a different set of plays that they've really been focusing on here the last couple of weeks.
You see the flag challenge on the catch by Bolden. More time than not, when that's thrown, it's word from up there saying this is worth challenge, and that's exactly what Baltimore will do. 12-17 in the fourth. Back in Santa Clara, John Perry is taking a look.
The ruling in the field stands. Baltimore is fired with their second team timeout.
Ravens have one. Mike Carey is back in New York. Mike, what'd you think of the play and the call?
Yeah, I think it was a great play. On the low end zone, you see the ball does hit the ground. But then on the high end zone, when Bolden comes around, you still see the ball locked in his hands. We do miss the ball for a bit, so that's why it stands instead of is confirmed.
And it was ruled a catch, that's why. Good stuff, Mike. Thank you. They're at the 25 with the 1st and 10. Carlos Hyde. Blocked by Vance McDonald, the tight end to the 22-yard line is where he goes. Smothered on the play. Brandon Williams and a couple others with a gain of 3.
You think this part of the field, what about Vernon Davis? Have we mentioned his name today? I mean, it's incredible.
He's only got 8 catches. He's missed the last couple games, Rich, with a
been missing in
left
action.
knee. Yeah, left knee, MCL.
You think about him and Reggie Bush.
He's only been targeted once.
Davis was out the last 2 weeks with that bruised knee, but not a factor so far in this offense.
Second down, 7 high. And Smith, the linebacker, makes the stop. The tackler for the Baltimore Ravens, a gain up to the 21. And here comes Bolden back in. Bolden had a season-high 107 against the New York Giants on Sunday night with 8 catches. Today he's got 102 with 5. Torrey Smith at 96 yards, 76-yard touchdown reception from Colin Kaepernick. Watch for Bolden here, 3rd and 6. Bolden has a couple catches on 3rd down today.
Just can't turn it over. Field goal here makes it a 2-possession game. Here comes the pressure.
Kaepernick looked one way. Blocked by Staley. To the end zone, wide open, touchdown! Quentin Patton. First career touchdown reception.
You know, bad things happen for a defense when you allow a quarterback to scramble around like this. Kaepernick's going to work all the way back to his right. You're going to see the receiver, Patton, in the back of the end zone. Sharice falls. And he is wide open.
If that was Sharice Wright's man, that is the 2nd touchdown he has allowed today after being cut by San Francisco over the weekend and then signed off the street by Baltimore earlier this week.
And remember, Kevin, he was inactive for the first 4 games for the 49ers. Didn't play.
Good point. They're going to go for 2 here, it looks like. So Wright, who has to start because of all the injuries in the secondary for the Baltimore Ravens, has gotten torched twice.
Yep, they're up 12.
If indeed he was the guy in that last play, it looked like he was, huh?
Absolutely. You're up 12. You go for 2 in this situation.
Shutdown cornerback, maybe as valuable as any you got on that defense. Trying for 2 Kaepernick. The other side, he had Sonny open, and he's going to throw that away. That's picked up by Hill, who is tackled on the play by Andrew Tiller, who has been rotating at that right guard with Devy. 21-yard touchdown pass. Kaepernick, 2nd of the day. A wide open Quentin Patton. His first career touchdown reception. Colin Kaepernick is 15 of 26 for 323. There you take a look at Quentin Patton, who had only 9 catches coming into today out of Louisiana Tech, a 4th-round pick a couple years ago. They just play up until today. Was a 40-yard reception against the Packers and comes up with a 21-yard touchdown reception moments ago to put the Niners on top, 25-13. That goes over there to Ross and a touchback to the 20 for Baltimore.
You're going to get Bolden and Patton to the post and Davis to the flat, but then off of that, you're going to get the scramble by the quarterback. He is all over the place, and it gives Patton a chance to make the adjustment once he sees the quarterback scramble. Nice adjustment on the fly by Quentin Patton.
You're right, it was Sharice Wright who was back there covering. So twice he had been hit in the secondary in his first start, first action really in the regular season. Rich said he's been inactive for San Francisco until he was cut. 1st and 10. And across the middle, that is Steve Smith. He's brought down by Reed, who looked like he got hurt on the play. Flags are thrown. Gain of 12 as it stands right now. Reed is down at the 31.
There's 2 fouls in the play, no offset. Holding offense number 60. Illegal contact defense number 57. Offset. Replay 1st down.
Monroe and Wilhoit, respectively. Well, both teams came in 1-4 today. And if you take a look at recent history, at least go back to 94, these are the teams that began that same way and made the playoffs.
Yeah, since 94, only 4 teams have started the season 1-4 wanting to make the playoffs. So you say there's a chance.
There is a chance.
But, you know, you look at the team that loses this one, Kevin, as we mentioned earlier, they'll be 1-5, making it difficult, if not impossible, to get to the postseason. I think both these coaches know what's at stake.
Sorry, Rich. Jaquaski Tart. He plays in Reed. 1st and 10. From the 20. Flacco. Force it. Boy, use him a lot, don't they? Tart knocked him out of bounds. And about the 20-yard line with a gain of 3.
Be careful on that sidelines now. I always say you have to have your head on a swivel on the boundary. Watch this. Ooh.
Look out. Ooh. Is that one of our guys? One of our sound guys? No, somebody else. Yeah, our guys
are too quick.
They are. Yeah, we put them through agility drills before we hire them. 2nd down and 7. Smith.
That's a good throw.
Brock got him right on the back, which is 42-yard lines, front of 19, first down.
Joe Flacco throws this ball before Steve Smith even gets his head around. Great anticipation. You mentioned Kevin gets hit right in the back. He is a tough guy.
Smith is for 100 yards. That's the 50th game in his career over 100 yards. He ties Don Maynard for 6th all time. First and 10. They said bouncing, probing, and about 3 before he's brought down by Quint Dial. Here's Forsett, who really couldn't crack the lineup at Seattle. They get him in Baltimore, and he's been terrific since he's become a Raven.
You know, he's been quiet today, Kevin. Just 58 rushing yards after rushing 271.
He did have a bad ankle coming in, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Second down and 7. Going deep here. And overshoots his receiver. Jeremy Ross. Averaged downfield by Tremaine Brock.
Got to defend the deep ball against Flacco. Eric Mangini, the 49ers defensive coordinator, said that the one thing we're very aware of, we've got to be able to put a lot of stress on the box in the running game. We can't allow Flacco to throw it over top of us defensively.
Eric Mangini, he's been a 2-time head coach. First year as defensive coordinator. 3rd year on the San Francisco staff. Let's see what he's got dialed up defensively. 3rd and 7. Flacco. That's caught by Givens. Tart makes the stop. Givens, they just made a trade for him a couple weeks ago with St. Louis. He gained 11 on 3rd and 7. A first down to the 44 of San Francisco.
Well, with the injury to Steve Smith, they needed more speed at the wide receiver position. They go out and make the trade, bring in Chris Givens.
He was a draft choice by St. Louis in the 4th round. 10th different receiver Flacco, who's on the move. Being chased here by Carradine. And again throws away wisely. 2nd down and 10. It's the Packers and the Chargers back to New York now. James on the coach.
And it's Aaron Rodgers.
And once again, it's James Jones. Back shoulder fade, 8 yards out, touchdown. Green Bay goes ahead of San Diego, 24-17.
46 seconds up in the 3rd. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
How do you explain James Jones being free?
What were the Giants thinking? Let him go.
Or the Raiders. Unbelievable. He's gone there. Been a touchdown machine. Led the league in touchdowns a couple years ago as a Packers. 2nd and 10. That's Kamar Aiken in front of Navarro Bowman to the 32, pickup of 12. So on this drive, gains of 19 to Smith, 11 to Givens, and Kamar Aiken picks one up for 12 and a first down.
Well, the 49ers having a difficult time getting pressure on Flacco, Kevin. You have to be creative in how they generate and manufacture a pass rush. They don't have the great pass rushers anymore. Alden Smith no longer here. Justin Smith retired.
Flacco underneath. That's Williams hit by Navarro. And the gain of 10. And very close to a first down. His 4th reception today, the tight end out of Minnesota.
Well, the 49ers have had just 4 sacks in their 4-game losing streak. As I mentioned, they're trying to find ways to manufacture pressure. And last week against the Giants, it was 5- and 6-man blitzes.
Well, they've had a couple of red zone appearances today, but field goals both times. They got 7 here or more. Flacco, nice catch. Givens on the slant. And he's down to the San Francisco 14 with a pickup of 7.
Really having success working in the middle of the field against this 2-deep coverage.
As the Giants did.
49ers play a majority of their snaps. They play zone defense. Not a lot of man-to-man. They don't trust those corners out on an island. 2nd
down, 3, 4th set. With a wrap up there and attacked by Eric Armstead, the rookie out of Oregon, with a gain of 4. He's inside the 10. That is a goal-to-go situation. A first down for Baltimore. Ravens 1 timeout, San Francisco 2. And you see the red zone resume from today here in the Bay Area. Flacco, 29 of 43, 293. First and goal. Rockets inside, and he had his receiver, and it's incomplete to Jeremy Ross.
Boy, he had him, you're right. He just missed him, Kevin, a little bit high. Talking about a guy that's just been with you a couple weeks, Jeremy Ross. He's got him up the seam. This one just sailed a little bit on Joe Flacco. Really felt like they could attack the 49ers safeties.
Reed, by the way, is back in the secondary, so 5 back there for San Francisco. Second down and goal at the 9. It's the 12th play of the drive. Began at the Baltimore 20. Flacco. Ross to the 1. And tackled on the play by Jimmy Ward. 8.
Well, Flacco doesn't give up on this. I mean, he just hangs on to hold it as long as he possibly can. And he waits on Ross on the crossing out.
3rd and goal at the 1.
This is 4 down territory now.
Flacco to throw that. No place to run, no place to hide. Buffet was coming quickly. Throws him for a 1-yard loss.
Really nice job with the pressure there. I mean, they committed to the run. There was nowhere penetration.
You called it, Rich. 4 down territory, and here they go on 4th and goal. Back to the ball, touching 3.
Here they come again. Flacco trying to change the play at the line of scrimmage. They're inside 5 seconds. Somebody got to come to life.
Oh, what a catch by Kamar Aiken. Snatches that ball, 2-yard touchdown pass. Flacco looking a little like Montana as he was drifting to that far side.
I'm not even sure, Kevin, that he was throwing the ball.
I don't know.
To Aiken. I think he was throwing it to Brown behind him. Nonetheless, a terrific effort here by Joe Flacco. He's been very good throwing the ball on the move this year outside the pocket. I think he's throwing the ball Brown in the back of the end zone, and Aiken just jump up and make the play. He sure was. His eyes were on Brown and not Aiken. A little bit of unexpected good fortune for Joe Flacco.
Flacco, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and Kamar Aiken with his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. And it comes a terrific time. They're going to try for 1, and here is Tucker to make it a 5-point game. And that's where we stand with 5:14 to go in the 4th. The Ravens continue to come back. Flacco with his 2nd touchdown pass and a terrific grab by Kamar Aiken. Back in Santa Clara, Monday, October 26th. Find out why critics are saying Supergirl is the TV superhero we've been waiting for. Supergirl premieres Monday, October 26th after a new Big Bang Theory, only CBS, with NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Jamie Erdahl is on our sideline. A good-looking drive engineered by Flacco. A pass of 19 to Smith, 11 to Gibbons. Also a 7-yard reception by Gibbons. A 12-yard pass to Aiken. Ross for 8, and then Aiken in the end zone on a 2-yard leaping touchdown reception with the ensuing kickoff over the head of Haynes out of bounds. And San Francisco will begin at 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Well, we're talking about 1-4 teams, Kevin. They're 1-4 because neither team has been able to finish late in games. And if you're Colin Kaepernick and this 49ers offense, you have great opportunity here. You've got 5 minutes and 14 seconds to go. You got a chance to take the ball the length of the field and really put this team away. Even a field goal in this situation puts you up 8.
Last week, 7 teams that trailed in the 4th quarter ultimately came from behind to win. This week, 3 teams already have done it in the 4th quarter to win. 1st and 10. With no gain on play, and the tackle made by Courtney Upshaw on the running back Carlos Hyde. They stay at 20.
And you can't get conservative in this situation. One of my keys coming out of the half for San Francisco, continue to be aggressive offensively. You look at him, Tom Sewell, there on the sidelines. He has to have that conversation with his offensive coordinator, Jeep Christ. It's not the time right now to be kind of getting tight.
Timeout, you see Baltimore with 1, San Francisco with 2. Mike Davis, the rookie out of South Carolina, is in. 2nd down and 10. Fake to Davis. Chased by Guy. And may have been caught. It was on the sideline in front of Sharice Wright. It's grabbed on the play by Quentin Patton, who just caught the touchdown pass earlier. 17-yard reception, a 1st down.
Well, Patton's unfortunate, Kevin. You guys should watch him at the top of this route. He is going to push off with that left hand to create separation between himself and Sharice Wright. Sharice Wright having a difficult day against the 49ers offense.
Busted play right there. They had a rookie right there, Mike Davis, who just checked in. That was his second play.
And John Harbaugh threw the challenge flag.
Let's see if he...
There is no challenge. The challenge came after the snap. Clock is corrected, 3:53. Second down.
Question, will he step out that left foot? I think that's what the Ravens were.
You can see the divot right there and that hash mark on that sideline, but it was close. You're right, Rich.
Really close.
It's the 2nd and 11. From 36. Niners have lost 4 in a row coming in. 4-5 losses for Baltimore. Let's watch.
Hey, look at that left foot. Pretty darn close.
No more messing around. Rookie's been taken out. Hyde is back in. 2nd down and 11.
But it had success going after Sharice right here. Nice stop now.
Hyde, Miller the block. And tackled on the play by C.J. Mosley with a gain of 4. Up to the 40. It's the Panthers, it's the Seahawks, it's James Brown and coach in New York.
Carolina capitalizing on a mistake.
Once again, the Seattle defense fails to hold a lead right there at 26 yards. Cam Newton to Greg Olsen. Carolina takes the lead with 29 seconds to go, up 27-23.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
Every game that Seattle has lost, they've held a 4-quarter lead, Rich.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's not the same Seattle defense, Kevin, that we're accustomed to seeing. They're playing with the same confidence and swagger.
3rd down and Son Kaepernick. He had Hyde, now he's chased by a guy and he runs out of room. Flag has been thrown at the 44.
Yeah, it's going to be holding. Comes from the back judge like that.
Holding. Defense. The 22. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
It's a hold on Jimmy Smith on 3rd and 7. That's a first down. Those are the penalties. We mentioned this earlier. The penalty situation, one that has hounded this team. Number 3 overall in the league.
There he is, Jimmy Smith, and he's going to be covering Anquan Bolden on the crossing route. So grab him right there at the top. The back judge sees it.
Well, they lost 2 of their 3 quarterbacks in the Cleveland game. They've lost Kendrick Lewis today, the safety. The numbers are dwindling in the secondary for the Ravens. Here's a 1st and 10. And once again, they send Hyde into the thicket of defenders on that line with a Brandon Williams tackle and a gain 1 to the 46.
And the Ravens took the timeout before the 2-minute warning.
Well, Baltimore used a timeout early in the second half. Very early. What, the first or second play of the second half they had to use one.
I don't know if they had a substitution issue or some confusion. You're right, Kevin. They broke timeout.
Lost one on a challenge as well. So they're out with 2:21 to go. Out of timeouts. Niners with 2. 2nd and 9 coming up.
And if you're Joe Flacco in this situation, you're going through your 2-minute thoughts as you stand on the sidelines and hoping that your defense gets a stop. You're going through the 2-minute thoughts. You have that conversation with Mark Tresson. What do you like? What are we going to start with? That first play in a 2-minute drive is absolutely vital. If you can come away with some positive yards, get a little momentum.
It's interesting how different quarterbacks handle that sideline time. Some guys are looking at pictures like Manning. Guys like Flack, they basically stand and, I guess, have their thoughts to themselves. Huh?
I think he's got a good sense of what he wants to do. I think most importantly, he needs a defense to get off the field here.
2nd down 9. This is the rookie. And Trump with the hit on Mike Davis with only his 15th carry of the season. Finished in the top 10 all-time rushers in South Carolina history. There's no gain on the play. He got to 46. Now 3rd and 9. This is going to take us out of the 2-minute warning. Jim Tomsula trying to hold on. Harbaugh trying to come from behind on CBS. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and NFL superstar Darrelle Revis, followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, and CSI Cyber. Only CBS. We're at the 2-minute warning. Baltimore's out of timeouts. They're down by 5. It's 3rd and 9 for San Francisco at their 46.
Now that Kevin, a first down here, and the game is over really for the 49ers. I think I'm going to move Colin Kaepernick out here. And if it's not open, wide open, I'm going to tell him to go down with it and not throw the ball away.
It's Hyde. Davis trying to throw a block to tight end, and you can see down goes shy of midfield, hit by a couple, including Doomerville. It's a gain of 2. He's up to the 48. And they will send up their punting unit with the clock ticking and no way for Baltimore to stop with the timeout.
Yeah, they run 40 seconds off the clock. More conservative route there. Ravens going to get the ball back. Kevin with just a little over a minute to go in the game with no timeouts. Flacco's going to have to use the sidelines. He's going to have to be able to clock the ball. And he needs a touchdown.
How about this, Rich? If Baltimore goes on to lose, they'll have lost 5 games by a total of 22 points.
Yeah, it's been,
only just about 4.5 points a game over the season. And some missed opportunities today for the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, that's some opportunities in the back of the end zone. Steve Smith couldn't hold on to a couple of Flacco throws. They had the issue with the field goal. Tucker gets his left foot, his plant foot stuck in the ground. He's as steady as they come. But this has really been kind of the story for this season for the Ravens. Been so close and yet so far away. They've not been able to finish late in games, whether it's offensively or defensively.
And they're going to send everybody to try to block this one. Opinion to punt. A rookie.
We got Ross back.
And he has returned a punt for a touchdown in his limited career.
He's going to get a chance. He's going to let it go.
To the end zone, stopping the clock at about 1:06. 52-yard punt. So Joe Flacco with no timeouts, 1:06 with which to work, and down by 5.
And the 49ers, Kevin, have to defend the boundary a little bit here. You know, any completion of field of play is really going to put a lot of stress on the Ravens' offense with a tough situation. Flacco's really got to make sure that the offensive line, as soon as the ball's out, they've got to hustle. They've got to sprint to the football and try and clock.
Flacco looks into 6 defensive back to the 1st and 10. Underneath and over the head of Forsett. Incomplete 2nd and 10.
Incompletions don't kill you in this situation. Another way of stopping the clock for Flacco.
Niners kind of in the position themselves last week against the Giants.
Well, anything can happen. We saw Michigan State game the other day. I mean, that was an incredible finish.
2nd and 10. No timeouts. Flacco. And he's got Ross. 38-yard line.
Got to clock it.
And he's hit on the play by Tart, among others. Gain of 18.
So I think this is a mistake, Kevin. You waste way too much time. They're going to burn 15 seconds. Clock the ball. Look how much time they're wasting in this situation. You can't put it back on the clock.
Flacco 1st and 10 from his 38. Winding up and going deep. Took it from Marlon Brown. Incomplete. He was double-teamed. Kowalski Tart was there. And they had also back there Jimmy Ward. Make it Reed. 2nd down.
49ers have had a difficult time getting to Flacco. Throwing the ball. He's dropped back past 49 times. They don't have a single sack to show for it.
2nd and 10. It is, he throws, caught by Smith.
Gonna clock it.
40-yard line, hit by Buffet, hit by Bowman, picks up 22. Ball at the 40-yard line of San Francisco.
These guys aren't even running.
No timeouts. Spiking, 2nd down and 10. 13 seconds left.
Go back and show these guys jogging to the football. I mean, it's amazing.
First watch the 22-yard reception by Smith, a thicket.
Man, you've got your left tackle, Eugene Monroe, Osemele, just jogging down to the football. You got to understand the situation in the game.
2nd and 10.
We got a penalty here.
Timeout. Timeout, San Francisco with 1 left.
With the snap imminent, 12 men, defense, 5-yard penalty.
Now the officials are going to go talk to John Perry because they say that a timeout was taken before, and that's what this conversation's about. They say timeout was taken before the penalty. And half the officials signal timeout. Other half said delay a game.
Well, you've got a defender coming off the field that's calling for the timeout. You've got 12 on the field. Clearly some confusion for the 49ers.
Now they're going to move them up.
Well, that's big.
To the 35.
Now Flacco's got 2 shots, Kevin, for the end zone.
And 5 yards closer.
The fire drill.
2nd down and 5. Flacco. Aiken. Nope. On the chuck, incomplete. Coverage by Acker. It was a terrific catch, though. If he held on to it and had his feet in, he was tested. And clearly out of bounds. 3rd and 5.
Last shot here, Kevin. You've got 6 seconds. Flacco's got to buy himself some time and give Steve Smith, Jimmy Ross, and these receivers a chance to get down the field in the end zone.
7 defensive backs. 3rd and 5. Flacco into the end zone looking for Smith. Knocked away, deflected. Ball knocked away by Eric Reed. Zeros on the clock, and San Francisco has ended their 4-game losing streak with a win. Their 2nd home win this season, beating Baltimore 25-20. Aiming for Smith, receivers in the back of the end zone. And Baltimore's comeback bid comes up short. And San Francisco will go to 2-4. Ravens will drop to a franchise worst 1-5. Kaepernick today 16-27 for 340. 2 touchdowns for him. A winner in San Francisco for the Niners. Let's take you to James Brown in our CBS studios.